Don't you hate wrestling with predictability? The garbage man, the sexy boy, boring ass TV? How did I get to work in here? Somebody tell me, please. The WWF is confusing to me. With Vince as mean as you've ever seen. I told old Patterson I'm done here in June. When a sudden voice inside me whispered, Vinny, don't sell your dream so soon. And everywhere I look, there's a Ted with a hand to hold on to. And everywhere I look, there's a place and a promotion who needs you. And it's there you'll book when you're lost out there and you're all alone. And WCW's waiting to carry you home. It's there you'll book. And it's there I'll book. A doobity-ba-ba-ba, headed to Atlanta and listen to this podcast. It's all right, even though it fucking makes fun of everything I've ever done.
Backbone Wrestling Network. Welcome back to episode 49 of Are You Smarter Than Vince Russo's WCW? I'm Scott Shiflett. Joining me, as he has for the previous 48 episodes, the backbone himself, Logan Crossland. Logan, how are you doing?
We're almost 50 years old, Schiff. How do you feel about that?
Dude, I never thought we'd get past 10 episodes, and somehow we're at 50.
We probably shouldn't have.
Ain't that the truth? It feels like there's been 50 episodes from last time we did Slamber Reed to the Great American Bash, our last pay-per-view.
Now that is
this is finally the last show before the Great American Bash, which episode 50 will be the Great American Bash, which kind of wish episode 50 was Bash at the Beach, Logan, because I think that would be hilarious.
Yeah. But
sadly, that will not be the case. I don't even know when that would be. I'm sure Grooney will tell me what episode it will be, but don't worry about it, Grooney. We'll figure it out. But yeah, sorry we missed the last episode. Nothing dropped 2 weeks ago. A little peek behind the curtain. I had a wedding to go to, and then that's normally when I watch. And then when I came back, I was basically just busy with shit. Real life got in the way, so my apologies, guys. May have.
And then I went on vacation, so it was just all a big hullabaloo. So
yeah, it's what happens with the summer. I'm not sure. Also, we're getting 6 months ahead now, but I'm not sure what's going to happen when Logan has another kid. So
yeah.
We'll see what happens there. I plan on
trying to be dedicated as always, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yes. Logan, I got a list of podcasts you can drop before you drop this one. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I got you. I'll take advice on that.
Yeah, I'll tell you off. I'll tell you off camera. But I'm glad with this episode. I remembered what had happened, and ironically, I'm wearing my red and black NWO t-shirt today as we're recording. You guys can't see that, but Logan can. I'm glad that this Thunder kicked off because we see highlights of Nitro, because I had sort of forgotten, but like when I saw all this stuff it came rushing back to me, Logan. We see highlights of Sting versus Jeff Jarrett, which we thought we had another world title change, but then Sting just whooped Jarrett's ass afterwards. The return of Hollywood Hulk Hogan, and him, of course, beating the fuck out of Kidman. Flair versus Russo, how Russo beat Flair because the red liquid fell on him. Goldberg returning. Nash destroying the New Blood and the New Blood Gauntlet, and Eric threatening to sue Goldberg, and Goldberg saying Eric's ass is next. I will say the filter that they had over this, Logan, while I was playing, was trying to give me a fucking stroke. It was bad. I don't know really what it was, but it was
bad.
Very
chaotic for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which WCW is right now is I just named off like 7 different things that happened, and yeah, none of those matches are at the pay-per-view of the people involved. Like, yes, those people are having matches, but not against, like, Sting and Jeff Jarrett aren't having a match. You know, Flair and Russo aren't. Flair and David Flair is. But anyway, a limo pulls up, and out comes some suits and Eric Bischoff. We get the Thunder intro that kicks off 4 days to the Great American Bash. We're in Knoxville, Tennessee, about 2.5 hours away from where I'm located now. It was like 5 hours in 2000, but out comes Eric Bischoff in the suits, and they say 4 days away from the announcement that from Eric that will alter the state of sports entertainment. They really hype this up on the Go Home show. Eric says he's overwhelmed with the love he feels in this building. He says, "You people," and then Eric says he has important announcements today. He says his legal staff behind me is documented and makes no mistakes. Says he's going to be careful with the word he chooses. He says 3 things. Speculation of his big surprise, because y'all know when I say it'll be big, it'll be big. Says it'll be the biggest damn move he's ever made, and no one can stop him. And for those of you who watch Nitro, I was clear when I addressed Bill Goldberg and fair when I addressed him, that if Goldberg interfered in New Blood business, then I have no choice but to suspend him. Eric says Bill, as of now, you're suspended without pay for 90 days. Eric says it's not about money. It's not about money, but he's without pay. And last one, on a serious note, what happened to Jeff Jarrett on Monday? Eric says Jeff was injured by Sting and will not be able to participate at the Great American Bash, and says the main event is postponed, and says we can all blame Sting. Eric then asked Jeff Jarrett to come out. You know, the way it's going, Logan, I was thinking maybe he's relinquishing the title.
Yeah, I mean, it would have fit. I feel like that's happened like 20 times for us so far. So,
but Jeff comes out with a walker, an arm cast, and a leg cast, and a neck brace. He's all done up. He has some hot nurses and R&B security. Tony's losing credibility more and more as he's actually trying to sell that this is serious, and like it should be Bobby trying to say how serious it is, not your lead announcer, in my opinion. But Tony was so checked out, as he said before, that he didn't give a fuck. And then we once again see Sting beating Jeff's ass for Monday. Jeff finally makes it to the ring because he took his sweet ass time. He gets on the mic and says, "I know my millions of slapnuts will be disappointed, but you can blame all of this on Sting." He said pinning him is one thing, but taking his livelihood is another. He says, "What kind of man would challenge Vampiro to a Human Torch match at the Great American Bash?" Jeff apologizes to all his fans, all of WCW, and Eric, and also apologizes to Kevin Nash. That cues up Wolfpack music to hit, and out comes Kevin Nash with a baseball bat. Nash gets in the ring, and he pulls out a mic of his own. Jeff says, "Kevin, I'm sorry." Nash says, "No, I'm sorry because I was looking forward to kicking your ass at Great American Bash." Jeff says things happen and says the match can happen another time. Kevin says he brought the back down for a specific reason, to tape your temperature. And then Nash starts beating down Jeff with the bat and ripping off the medical stuff. Jeff is about to powerbomb. Nash is about to powerbomb Jeff, but Eric, in the most choreographed way ever, you can see Nash literally looking over his shoulder, waiting for Eric about to hit him with the bat. Nash catches the bat and actually beats down the attorneys. Eric runs away, and Nash clotheslines Jeff onto the entrance ramp. Jeff then runs away, and Nash gets on the mic and says, "I'll see your ass Sunday at the Great American Bash." Whew, pretty big segment there, Logan. I don't know why they try to do a swerve like this. Like, everyone knew. Like, if you wanted to do this, just save it for the very end when, spoiler alert, Jeff Jarrett and Kevin Nash have a run-in at the end. Just have that where they do the swerve instead of 30 seconds later it's blown. It's literally like, "Hey, Logan, I bought you a gift. What is it? Oh, you'll have to wait till Sunday." And then I fucking just show you the gift now. I bought you another episode of Vince Russo. Are You Smarter Than Vince Russo's WCW, Logan?
Yeah, just ridiculous for sure. The first thing I noticed when Bischoff came out is, I know his hair is real, but it looked very much like a toupee tonight. It looked like very much like he had a helmet on his head that had hair on top of it. So I definitely noticed that about Bischoff. He looked a little ridiculous, but I know it's his actual hair, but it definitely looked fake. Like you said, he kind of assures us of the bigness of the surprise or the, thing that's going to happen, the biggest announcement in the history of WCW. He kind of reassures us and says it's huge. It's going to be this huge thing. Goldberg just returns and then it gets suspended for 90 days. So that's fun. And then, Jarrett comes out all done up and all the cast and all the ridiculousness that he comes out with. I love that he apologizes for disappointing his slap nuts. So I thought that was a pretty funny line there from Jeff. And then, Nash comes out with a bat. I thought as soon as he dropped the bat, and obviously Bischoff picks it up pretty quick, but I thought as soon as he dropped it, Bischoff was about to crown him with it. But he does, like you said, kind of give away that he's not going to be hit with it because he turns around immediately. But he said he was going to take Jarrett's temperature with the bat. So are we assuming that he meant he was going to shove it up his ass?
Yes, he's going to shove that thing up his ass.
So then he destroys all the. I love that he kicks the lawyer's ass like they had anything to do with anything. But very long segment. But it was effective in what it wanted to do. But it they do kind of bait and switch a little bit, and it's kind of stupid. But not an awful segment for sure.
No, but I just feel like it would have been a little bit better if you spent the whole night wondering. But of course, Russo, he has the attention span of a baby on crack. So there you go. And then we pan backstage to all the Misfits in action. We got General Rection. Sorry, is it Captain Rection? No, Captain Rection.
No, it's General.
Sorry. He's telling the other Misfits no more oogling at Major Guns. That's his exact words. Then the Lieutenant Loco threatens to kill them all if they don't stop oogling at her. Rection says we have a long night ahead of us and tells them to lace up all their boots. And then we go to the outside of the arena again, and we see old people in a van showing up, and a lady actually eats shit getting out of the van, Logan. Don't know if you caught that. And she catches herself too, and she's like, oh. And then Russo gets out of the van and says, come on, you old bag.
I'm pretty proud of her that she actually stood up from that too, because she could have easily been like, oh, my hip, oh God.
Yes, but it was perfect. She slipped right off that fucking lip to get in the van. But she did a great job. She's probably dead now, but she did a great job.
I would assume so.
25 years ago, she was already looking like she was old as shit. But we finally get our first commercial break after all that. And then when we come back, we see David Flair walking backstage, and Daphne walks up on him. Daphne says, you haven't called me all week. David says, there's no time. We got to get ready for the party. Daphne says, who that bimbo, Miss Peacock, and then calls David a jerk and walks away. I was like, okay. So
she's so dismissive about it too. She goes, Miss Peacock.
Yeah, it's just weird how we've seen it just she's disappeared, and for all intents and purposes. So we'll see if she pops back up at the Great American Bash, but she does have a match tonight, which we'll talk to shortly. And then we go back to the New Blood dressing room where Eric is sitting on a couch, and Kimberly is complaining to him, and Jeff walks up and says, what are we going to do now? Eric says, I don't know. That was all Russo's idea, which that's what he says in 2026 when he fucking talks about this era, Logan.
That's 100%.
Kimberly, correct. Yes, Kimberly keeps complaining, and so does Jeff. And they keep saying, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Eric says, I don't know. And Kat says, he doesn't know, which I don't know. The Cat being his fucking hype man has been tripping me out, or my brain is broken, which both things might be true. Eric kicks everyone out. Kat's like, everyone get out. And he's like, even you. And Kat just walks off. It was just, I don't know, it just made me laugh. But Kimberly's still here, Logan. I thought we were done with her, but
hopefully after Great American Bash we'll be past the Kimberly era.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So the Filthy Animals come out. I noted that Disco Inferno has Champ Bailey Washington Commanders jersey on. They were not called the Commanders then, but everyone knows what they are. The Filthy Animals. Yep, the Filthy Animals tonight are Disco, Conan, Ray, Hoovy, and Tigress. Conan gets on the mic and says, "You GI jabroni and you banned words we can't say anymore." But was probably and it started with an R. I was like, God damn. He says they can't rock no camis. Conan says today bring out Lieutenant Loco and Daphne, and we'll come home with the cruiserweight title. That Disco will gank her title, and then says she likes to scream so much we're really gonna make her give her something to scream about. So I guess that insinuates rape. So
Jesus.
Two bad things said in a paragraph there, Conan. Disco basically playing the same role as the cat, just says "yup" after that. Conan says "Odele arriba la raza," and Disco says "word to your mother." So they're making fun of Disco for being the square of like these cool people, but he obviously partied with
the announce team.
Yeah, he. I mean, it's pretty funny with how he's trying to say it. Like, just when he said "yup" like that. I know Disco is one of your favorites, Logan, which I wouldn't admit to, but
he's not one of my favorites. He's just one of those like guilty pleasure kind of situations.
Yeah. So Misfits in Action come out next. Tony says it's a three-way dance between Lieutenant Loco, Disco, and Daphne for the Cruiserweight title. Tigress is on commentary, and I think I've heard mute people do better on commentary than Tigress does, which we'll talk about during this. Daphne and Crowbar then come out. Crowbar feels like he's been so sidelined too, because he was carrying David during those tag matches, but no longer need him, Logan. So match one tonight is three-way dance. Daphne versus Lieutenant Loco versus Disco for the Cruiserweight title. Tigress is trying to talk, but I guess her microphone isn't working, which thank goodness, because when she does talk, we'll talk about it. Disco punches Lieutenant Loco and rolls up Daphne. It gets broken up immediately. Disco backslides Daphne. Lieutenant Loco breaks this up again, and Loco chops Disco. Disco throws Loco into the corner, then charges Loco. He eats a boot. Daphne then hits a standing Hurricane Rana on Disco. Loco and Daphne yell at each other. Daphne is backing up and trips over Disco, and Loco rolls her up, but Disco breaks this one up. Disco gets Loco in a headlock, and Loco back body drops him and gets a 2 count because Hoovy broke up the pin. Crowbar runs through the ring and then just dives on MIA on the outside. Then Miss Hancock's music hits and she comes out, and her and Daphne start yelling at each other on the aisle. This brings out Kimberly because she has beef with Miss Hancock from Nitro, and she pushes Miss Hancock into Daphne. Major Guns then comes up and is yelling at Kimberly. Corporal Cajun is holding back Major Guns right here. And then back in the ring, the Filthy Animals are beating down Lieutenant Loco, but G.I. Bro comes in and hits Disco with the bookend. G.I. Bro puts Loco on Disco, and we got a new Cruiserweight champion in Lieutenant Loco.
Oh, no.
Oh, sorry. I got Corporal Cajun and Lieutenant Loco confused.
I was going to say, Jake is not going to appreciate getting compared to fucking Chavo Guerrero.
Well, I meant the Corporal Cajun part. My apologies, Jake. I know you don't listen. So
he's going to listen to this one just because you said that.
Yeah, 15 minutes in. Lieutenant Loco is still out, and Major Gun rips off her top and starts giving Lieutenant Loco mouth to mouth. And Tigress was horrible on commentary. She was trying to act like she was like a badass, like when people try to act like when there's something they're not, and that's definitely what I was feeling with Tigress. She's like, oh, I'm gonna beat this girl up. She doesn't know what real is. Everything on her is fake, which is actually a pretty good line because everything on Major Guns is fake, but still, it was not too good. MIA celebrates in the ring. This was most of the match we didn't see, as I specified, and they obviously had a rule from Turner or TBS, which is Turner, and TNT, to not put hands on a female because they never did anything to Daphne. Like, she tripped over him, which, why the fuck would you put a woman in, if you have that rule? Why would you put her in a fucking
why would you give her a men's belt?
Why would you give her men's belt? Like, what are we doing? But this was nothing match, Logan. But hey, we get another title change.
Yeah, it was it was good in the necessity of getting the belt off of Daphne, because obviously, like you just said, they probably instituted a rule at some point where they couldn't have male on female violence anymore, because they were trying to push the button as much as they could. And Russo probably over pushed it at a certain point. So they play the wrong music for the MIA when they first start coming out. They play it up until they get on the stage, and then they change the music, and then they come down, and then they play the music that they played originally again, which is Daphne and Crowbar's music, and then they came down. So a bit of a production faux pas there to start things out. I thought that was pretty funny. Daphne does get off a good Hurricane Rana on Disco at one point. I thought that was pretty good. I think it was like a middle rope Hurricane Rana or something like that. Or no, it was on the ground or on the in the
it was a standing Hurricane Rana.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Crowbar does that crazy dive out onto all the MIAs who are kind of at ringside. I thought that was pretty awesome. Like you said, the middle half of the match to kind of the ending, it's all about Miss Hancock and Daphne kind of getting into it. Kim comes in, Major Guns ends up getting involved, like you said. But then the chaos of the groups all getting in the ring obviously leads to the finish. G.I. Bro comes in, like you said, hits the bookend, and Lieutenant Loco is our new cruiserweight champion. So, and obviously, of course, Major Gunn had to give him mouth to mouth to resuscitate him. So, because he was totally passed out. But yeah, it's good to get the cruiserweight championship on a male, because it's a male championship. And if you're not going to be able to have the female wrestle, you need to probably have it on another male. So I don't envision Mr. Loco being a longtime champion. So we'll see how long he holds it. But I imagine his reign's not very long.
He'll probably lose it Sunday. Like, I don't even know if there's a match. He'll probably just fucking lose it. Be a fan.
I do think he holds it past then, but I don't think it's much longer.
Yeah, lose it Monday, Lynn. 2 episodes. You're probably right. So we go backstage to Kidman's apologizing to Tori. Kidman asks that Tori be there when he gets back. Then we got the Cat in front of Eric's office. Cat said, "I could have stayed home for this." Russo walks up and says it's okay and says, "Come hang with me. I'm going to make your night." I don't know what the fuck that means, but we get a commercial break. And then we come back. We're showing it during the break that the Cat came out. And he tells MIA, "If you're not in the match, I'm going to throw y'all out." And the rest of the MIA takes after him. And he says, if y'all interfere tonight, y'all going to go to Waffle House to get a job. And then Kidman and Horace come out. Tony tells us that Kidman and Horace are good now, but says that Tori and Kidman aren't. And we see how Tori hit Kidman in the nuts on Monday, but he had a cup on, which everyone fucking missed, including myself, but not Logan, backbone of the backbone Crossland, when we were discussing it. Kidman gets on the mic and says, "Tori, honey, baby, you need to listen." Says on Nitro he had pressure on him and he snapped. Says he needed to know if he can trust Horace, and the stitches on his head proves that he can. Jesus Christ. Kidman says he's days away from retiring Hogan. It says, "After I beat Private Stash, we need to talk." Kidman then tries to sneak attack Stash, but can't. Stash lays him out with one punch because Kidman's a fucking cuck for even Van goddamn Hammer, Logan. Like,
hey, that's Major
ridiculous.
Stash to you.
Yeah, sorry, Major Stash.
I'm just messing with you. Oh. Good old Major Stash.
But yeah, it's yeah. So match 2, guys. Major Stash versus Billy Kidman. Stash immediately throws Horace out of the ring because he was in the ring too, and he hits an atomic drop on Kidman. Stash picks up Kidman and throws him from one turnbuckle to another. Stash throws Kidman into the ropes, and Kidman tried to do a go behind on Stash, but Stash catches him and hits him with an Alabama slam. Stash is close to the ropes, and Horace pulls him out of the ring and starts beating. And Horace can't even beat Stash, but Stash is able to beat Horace around the ring. This allows Kidman to dive on Stash, and Horace actually throws Stash into the ring steps. Stash is thrown in the ring. Kidman pins Stash and gets a 1 count. It's ridiculous. Kidman stomps Stash, but then Kidman goes up top. Stash is able to get up, and he crotches Kidman and hits a superplex. But the ref starts looking at Kidman, acting like seeing if he's checking on him, see if he's hurt. Horace gets in the ring and hits a Death Valley driver. Kidman then goes up top and hits an elbow drop, and it's over. And I said, Kidman can't even fucking beat Major Stash. Kidman gets on the mic and says, Tori, please come down here. Tori comes out looking amazing. Kidman says he's stubborn and he's sorry. Says we are meant for each other. Kidman says we can do a lot of making up that we've always talked about. Insinuating makeup sex, and Tori slaps him, and she walks out of the ring, and it's fucking Cuck Kidman again, Logan. All this is like a fucking horror movie for Billy Kidman. Like, I feel bad for him retroactively. I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was this fucking bad. This man can't even fucking beat goddamn Major Stash clean. Major Stash dominated this match.
He did. Yeah, I'm honestly impressed that Kidman stayed in wrestling after this whole storyline. I'm surprised he had the motivation or the motivation or anything like that to go forward, like, and be in the business anymore, because this would have just drained my soul of any and everything that I lost any passion I could have had for the thing, because he gets completely squashed in all of these. He's getting fucking dumped by his extremely hot girlfriend on screen. I know it's all a show. I know it's all that, blah, blah, blah. But he's being like professionally embarrassed every week by a new person. Mostly Hulk Hogan, but we have Major Stash here. He's been beaten by, other people in the past. But yeah, Stash dominates pretty much the whole match. He does a pretty good superplex at one point. I did like the combo that they finished him off with. They hit a Death Valley driver and a flying elbow. I thought that was a pretty good like tandem finisher kind of move. But yeah, Tori comes out, slaps the hell out of him, and storms away. So I kind of don't think they need to keep like presenting them as like a possible couple anymore either, because I think Tori just kind of needs to do her own thing. And Kidman kind of needs to do his own thing after Sunday, because he's almost assuredly going to lose to Hogan at Great American Bash. So hopefully they kind of keep them separate going forward. But yeah, just another domination of Kidman and Horace. So I look forward to the next one where Hogan absolutely destroys both of them. And by look forward to it, I look forward to it at all.
I really hope that match is 3 minutes. Like, if it goes over 3 minutes, I know it probably does, but like, guys, it might take me six times to watch Great American Bash.
Might need to start watching it after we get off tonight.
Yeah, I really might. Yeah, I really might. Like, it really might break me, guys. I'm really worried about this. Yeah, like
I'll pray for you.
Yeah, like Kidman really should have just left the business, Logan. Like I wouldn't blame him. I know he works at WWE. Like this is so much worse than they said. Like, I read about it in the Death of WCW book, which is amazing. Plug. But oh my God. Every week, show by show, he's just fucking punked out. Just fucking punked out.
Yeah, he's got nothing.
Yeah. But then we go back to the Cats are with the old people backstage. Cat says, I know you don't have much time left, but he's going to teach them how to dance. Cat is dancing, and so are they. Cat says, just watch me and follow along. I said, what the fuck are we doing? And then some old lady starts giving him lip. Cat goes to her and says, old lady, and says, listen here, I will fight an old lady. And she takes off her jacket and says she'll knock the bleach out of his hair. And Cat says, hit my music. And says, old people aren't like they used to be. The segment isn't as bad. Yes, exactly. The segment isn't as bad as I described it. Cat actually makes it. He's pretty funny dealing with these old people. But like, what the fuck are we doing, Logan? Like, why is the segment in wrestling?
I haven't held back from my hatred for the Cat. I can't stand him. He's funny, and he probably makes this more entertaining than it should be, but he's not an important character. They try to make him important. They try to put him in like the power structure with the New Blood guys, but I really wish he would go away.
Yeah, he's gonna stick around. a little bit longer.
Yeah. I
To
know.
the very end, Logan.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, Matt Souza is going to annihilate me for that take, but oh well.
I like him right now. Like, he's funny with what he was doing, and when he was yeah.
I just know he's a goof, and like he's not ever going to do anything serious. So it's like I don't want him to be part of my experience.
Yeah, well, sadly, he is,
and he's not like so funny like a Santino. Like I could always deal with Santino being around because he was actually hilarious. He's funny, but he's not like actively making me cackle every time he's on the screen.
So this might be what ends the podcast, guys. It won't be any of Russo's shit. It might be our opinions of the cat.
Yeah.
So should be interesting to find out.
He may get better. We'll see.
Yeah, probably not, Logan. You probably still hate him. So we have a commercial break. Vince Russo comes out. Balloons start falling from the ceiling, and I immediately had like a fucking PTSD flashback the night after Spring Stampede, where there were so many balloons in the ring, Logan, and all we heard when they were trying to cut that promo was the fucking popping of the balloons. But out comes Vince Russo, David Flair, and the Olds. They are wheeling out a big cake. Russo is carrying a bucket for some reason. Tony informs us they are celebrating the end of the career of Ric Flair. David says he's so glad that you people are here for my dad's retirement party. Says it's early, but it's time to celebrate. David says that Rick was never there for my birthday or my graduation, but Dad, I won't miss this. David Flair says it's for you, Rick, and he does the woo. Russo takes the mic and says for those keeping score, Russo is now 2-0 in the past week, and he's pinned Reed Flair and Ric Flair. Russo said there was a price to pay, as the doctor said he shouldn't be standing here. He has a concussion, ligament damage in his chest is beat to shit. It actually is. Like, he takes off his shirt and there's fucking chops everywhere. And when he does that with the shirt, the old people starts laughing at him, and Russo threatens to beat them. Russo says he wouldn't miss the retirement party for anything. And he says they're going to celebrate the retirement of Ric Flair and ask which one of the people farted. Bobby says they keep well in the weather, talking about the old people. They start singing for some reason for He's a Jolly Good Fellow. But then the big-ass cake starts coming down the ramp, and Russo says stop, says you aren't coming out of this cake. And he goes to investigate the cake, and when he does, there's no one in it, but Flair was hiding on the ring. He takes out David, and Rick goes after Russo. Somehow Reed runs in during this, and Rick slams Vince in the cake, and Rick starts beating down David. Then the Flairs and the Olds all leave the ring. David helps Russo up, and Russo starts throwing some of the cake into the crowd. Fucking chaotic ass scene, Logan.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody like ate the cake that got thrown at him, because he throws like big wads of it at people. So I wonder if that got consumed, or if it was disgusting, or just vile as all hell. But yeah, definitely a chaotic scene. When Russo's involved, it's always pure, unadulterated chaos. So. And the Olds were out of control, of course. But yeah, Russo mentions that he's 2-0 against the Flair family. Obviously, he got the pinfall over Reed in the tag match a few weeks ago, and that might have been last week actually. But time is a crazy existence sometimes. But then obviously he beat Flair on Monday because of the red liquid. But yeah, Flair gets some comeuppance on both of them. He smashes Russo into the cake, and then he obviously kicks poor David low. So, yeah, I mean, like you said, absolute chaos all the way around. But I'm hoping this feud ends Sunday. So I guess we'll see when that happens.
Yeah, it's. Please let it end Sunday. For the love of God, please let it leave. But then we see a car pull up, and it's Tank Abbott and Rick Steiner. I didn't even think Tank Abbott would show up anymore after Goldberg beat his ass quickly. And then we see the Goldberg monster truck, which is somehow still a fucking character, despite Goldberg being back. We get a commercial break, and then we come back. Eric is on the phone and said, we have the right. If Goldberg sets one foot in the building, he wants Goldberg arrested. And then we see the Mamalukes backstage, and they're looking at all these posters, and the Wall attacks them. And this is the start of match 3, the Wall versus Mamalukes in a hardcore match. Wall beats down both Mamalukes as he sneak attack both of them. Tony informs us that Eric gave the hardcore title to the Mamalukes, so the Mamalukes are now the hardcore champs, Logan. News to both of us. Mamalukes then had
I told you it was coming.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize. Yeah, I was just frustrated. Off screen. Fucking, what are we doing? They could have done it as at the start of the show when Eric, when all those people were bitching to Eric, and the Mamalukes show up and he just gives it to them and they say thanks, and then Kimberly starts bitching about that or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I'm writing shit better than what they did. Amazing. And then the Mamalukes then have the numbers advantage, and they punch and kick Wall around the backstage area. Vito throws Wall around, and they hit Wall with a trash can, and then catering trays. They're battling backstage. Also, to note, Wall no longer has blonde hair and a blonde goatee. It's all his natural color, and it does not look good. Not a big fan of that. It looks like an entirely different person. And then they're battling through the crowd, and they make it to the ringside area. Wall's able to get back in control, and he throws Johnny the Bull in the ring. It was about to choke slam him, but Vito breaks it up. And then they both send Wall to the ropes, and he hits an elbow, and then they stomp the Wall. This gets a 2 count. Mamalukes then hit basically what the Spirit Squad hit, where they lift both of his all of his limbs up, and they slam him into the air. But this gets a 2. They go back to stomping him again. Wall ducks a double clothesline and hits one of his own on them. Wall hits a big boot to Vito, and then he chokeslams Johnny. Wall gets out of the ring, gets a table. He slides in the ring and sets it up. While this is happening, Vito gets on the top rope, but Wall charges him and tries to hit him with a super chokeslam off the top, but Vito fights him off. Shane Douglas runs down and hits Wall with a chair, and then is able to do as Wall was still on the second rope, he picks the Wall up and power bombs him through the table, which was a pretty cool visual. Vito then hits a splash, and it's a 3 count. Shane and the Mamalukes celebrate after the match. Wall gets up after the match, and Shane bails, and the Wall chases after Shane. And then as the Mamalukes are celebrating, we go straight to Tank Abbott knocking out both Mamalukes, a way to make your hardcore champs look like something's happening. He gets on the mic and says, "Shut up," says Goldberg. "We aren't done. We are far from done," says Goldberg got lucky once. That happens in fights. Tank says he wants Goldberg's ass in a rematch anywhere, anytime. Tank finally remembers that he's facing Scott Steiner at the Great American Bash. I really thought I was the only one that remembered that match, an Asylum match. But then Tank says Goldberg got lucky again and says that Great American Bash is going to make Scott Steiner his freak and will shove his head up his backside. And then Tank then calls out someone big, someone tough, someone sexy. I said big hooker in question mark. Nope, it's Kevin Nash. He called out, everyone. Tank says Nash ain't coming, and then says Knoxville is like a bunch of hillbilly idiots, and this leads to a commercial break.
Yeah. Craziness with this hardcore match, just battling all around the back of the arena. Stamboli in this match is a bumping machine. Wall just chucks him all around the place, and he takes some hellacious bumps in this one. I said Vito kind of looked like Taz in this match. He was wearing orange and black. He had the orange shirt on and the black pants. So
stealing my gimmick, brother.
Kind of gave me some Taz vibes. Taz is probably going to kill me for making that comparison. So if I don't make it to the next episode of this pod, it's because Taz killed me. So, but yeah, Douglas gets involved, like you said, leads to the finish. And then Tank comes out and randomly challenges Kevin Nash, despite the fact that he wants Goldberg, and he's facing Scott Steiner on Sunday. So, very, very random.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just ran through with it because it was just
Oh no, that's fine.
It's one thing. Well, it's one thing I do like about Russo, how everything sort of blends together. Like the Mamalukes are backing up upstate, up the arena, and they did knock him out. I do shit on him a lot, but there are some things that I like, and that is one of them. Mm-hmm. Also needed a water break, everyone, because my mouth was parched after all that talking right there. So we have a commercial break, then we come back, and Tank is still calling out Kevin Nash, says he's getting tired and might start beating up innocent victims again. We see Kevin Nash watching backstage. To be honest, looks like he's not really giving a fuck about what Tank Abbott is saying.
He's like, I'm not going out there.
For how many bumps? But
no thanks.
Tank walks around the ringside area and he threatens Bobby. And Bobby says, beat up Mike. He's the one talking trash about you. And then he's just walking around threatening everyone. And then Tony Schiavone's son is in the front row. And Tank says, I know who your dad is. Maybe I'll beat you up and beat your father up too. And the boy throws a soda in his face. And before Tank can come out, Wolfpack music hits. And Kevin Nash comes out once again. He's just in street clothes, so he really does not give a fuck. So match 4, Kevin Nash versus Tank Abbott. Kevin hits Tank with his big knee, and they start trading punches. Rick Steiner runs in ASAP, and they start beating on Nash. Somehow we get a DQ, despite that not being called usually. Nash fights back, and Scott comes down and beats on Tank. They clear the ring. You can loudly hear, despite this being taped, Logan, Scott's on the middle rope, and he yells out "motherfucker" at Tank. Loudly hear that over. And then this brings out Eric, and he says he's tired of Scott running in. It says Scott was just helping his friend. Rick's the one that ran in first. It says Scott will run the new Blood Gauntlet, and if Nash helps, he loses his title shot, and Goldberg shows up, he'll be arrested. I said, we saw Nash run through them. Scott won't have much of a problem. And then on the security cameras, this is a deep cut, like the video game Manhunt that Rockstar put out 20-ish years ago, 24 years ago. They were showing different security cameras, and we see Goldberg showing up, and he keeps walking around backstage. So, Logan, this was a nothing burger of a match. I do like Tank threatening the people, but I love how he got his comeuppance right now instead of beating someone down.
Yeah, it doesn't exactly get you super hyped for the Asylum match on Sunday, though, because it's pretty proven here that Scott can dominate both of them. But yeah, I'm glad he kind of got some comeuppance. Nash isn't going to bump for a guy he doesn't like, because I have a very big feeling that Nash was not a big fan of Mr. Abbott. I think he's good with the Steiner, so he's probably good with Rick, but I can imagine he's not a big fan of old Tank. But yeah, I didn't even mark it down as a match. I just kind of said it was part of the promo because the match barely starts, and Rick is almost immediately out, and they call for the DQ. So, but yeah, Steiner gets threatened with the old new Blood Gauntlet, and Nash didn't seem to have too many issues, and especially if referees are just going to count falls when they just get hit with jackknives or Steiner recliners or belly to bellies. I don't think Scott's going to have any issues.
Stop spoiling the main event.
What?
I was kidding, because you're just going to hit him with belly to bellies and stuff.
Oh, I mean, I just those are his moves. So
I know. Spoiler, that's what happens. Then we get a commercial break, and we see a cop show up. It's fine, buddy. We see cops showing up, and the cat's there talking to the cops and saying, yeah, Goldberg is here. Where the hell are y'all? Says y'all should have cut the donut break short. Cat keeps giving him hell, and the cop says he's heard enough of him. And then the cat says, all right, well, I'll show you some attitude. And they all just fucking walk off together. And then we see an ambulance pull up, and it's Mike Awesome is driving it. So this leads us to match 5, which is Mike Awesome versus Corporal Cajun. And Mike Awesome's carrying the halo to the ring. Awesome gets in the ring and just attacks Cajun with punches. Cajun's able to hit a drop kick and then runs into an awesome kick. Mike then beats down Cajun, and Cajun actually ducks a clothesline, but Mike is able to turn this into a block a punch and hit a sit-down powerbomb. Awesome hits a big splash on Cajun. He kicks Cajun and then goes up for a top rope splash. But he hits that, and then he leaves the ring and pulls out a table. He throws the table in the ring and hits a clothesline on Cajun. He sets up the table and continues beating down Cajun. He's about to powerbomb him through the table, but DDP pulls off Cajun and clotheslines Mike Awesome out of the ring. DDP celebrates like a dumbass, but Mike Awesome then hits DDP with the Halo. Awesome then powerbombs DDP through the table, and then he puts the Halo on DDP. So nice little, we've been saying how Mike Awesome kind of looked like shit, but this made a good job, kind of look like a badass right here.
Oh yeah, he completely dominates this match from end to end. Like, I mean, I don't know that Cajun even gets much offense whatsoever. He may get a few shots in here and there, but Awesome completely dominates this one. And yeah, I think despite the fact that he may not have been perfectly booked throughout this, I think he has been the best booked New Blood guy of all of them. That's how badly the other ones have been booked. But I definitely think he is the, like he obviously hasn't shown us much on the mic. I think we've kind of crapped on the few times that they've let him talk. But I definitely think that, in ring wise and like in some of these segments, he's at least dominated some guys. But, obviously he's not up against much competition. Vampiros look like shit. Kidmans look like shit. And those are kind of the other two main guys from the New Blood side going up against the big bads. So, or the quote unquote big bads of the Millionaires Club. So, yeah, I think he looked awesome here. No pun intended, but I definitely think he's been if not the best, one of the better book guys from the New Blood faction.
Yeah, I would say my list would go Jarrett just because he's won the world title multiple times.
That's true.
Awesome. Maybe Vampiro. Maybe. Last is Billy Kidman.
Yeah, the Kidman's definitely last.
Dead last.
Yeah.
Shane Douglas hasn't been booked that well, so he's next to last. Buff
Yeah.
suspended for being a piece of shit. They've already kicked Scott Steiner out of it, so
yeah, Steiner would be high, but obviously he hasn't been in it for a few weeks now.
Yeah, so just insane. But a limo pulls up and it's Hollywood Hulk Hogan. We get a commercial break, and then we see that Eric's with the cops and Kimberly. Eric says if there's any sign of Goldberg's, you arrest them. And then Kim asks for an espresso, and the cops start oogling over her. That's literally fucking it, boys and girls. That's literally it.
Yeah, I didn't comment on it earlier, but I love that they tell the cat to shut up when he's like jawing at him.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was just like hilarious. Match 6, because you wanted to be that cop and tell him to shut the fuck up, Logan.
I did. You're not lying.
Yeah. So we got G.I. Bro and General Rection versus the Perfect Event for the tag titles. And they changed Chuck Palumbo's name from the main event to Chuck Palumbo to just the event Chuck Palumbo. Not even main event anymore, Logan. Chuck and Sean show off their titles to everyone. The match starts. Rection and Sean start off. Sean kicks General Rection, then sends him to the ropes, but General Rection did it like they wanted. Rection reverses, and they both block each other's hip tosses. Rection's able to get a clothesline and gets a 2 count. We get a tag to G.I. Bro, and they hit a double elbow on Sean. G.I. Bro gets a sidekick that gets it 2. Tag back to Rection. They hit a double clothesline again. Rection punches Sean, then hits a spin kick. This gets 2. Sean punches Rection, and we get a tag to Chuck. Rection knocks Chuck into the corner, and Sean does a blind tag. Chuck hits a super kick to Rection, and Sean going up top. And then we see an old man in fatigues in the crowd, like he's part of MIA. Sean hits a top rope clothesline that gets 2. We get a tag back to Chuck, and they double team Rection with punches. We get a tag back to Sean, and Sean hits a back elbow that gets 2. Sean picks up Rection and slams his head into the turnbuckle, then hits an elbow. We see the old man is at ringside now, and he's starting to perv on Major Guns. Chuck hits a drop kick on Rection. The announce crew says this guy looks familiar. I think he's the old guy who cost Hugh Morris a match before Russo left in January and then fucked off. And then the announce team basically confirms this. We see the old man perving on Major Guns again. G.I. Bro tries to get in, but the heels double team Rection because the refs distracted with G.I. Bro. We get a tag to Sean. He hits a suplex on General. This gets it 2. Sean kicks Rection. Jesus. Giabro comes in and hits Sean. Then they double team Rection. Captain Rection gets a desperation power slam on Palumbo. Both men are down. That announcers actually say they probably could have won if Rection was able to make the cover. Tony says that we've added 2 more matches for the Great American Bash. I'm pretty sure he only mentions just one later tonight, but he's like, we'll say it later tonight. All right, whatever. We get a tag to Giabro, and he takes down all the heels. Giabro hits a sidewalk slam on Palumbo, and he tags Direction, and he hits a splash off the top, and he goes to pin Palumbo, but Sean breaks it up. When Gia and Sean start battling around the ring, that's when we're told that we're reminded that they have a boot camp match, which I low-key forgotten about. But then, Logan, this is real bad right here. Captain Rection is trying to do like a springboard clothesline and like falls off the ropes. Like, it is bad. Like, he tries to like run up the ropes and like just like jump back and hit a clothesline, but he does nothing. It's like me trying that shit piss drunk in the middle of the night.
I think he overestimates his athleticism at certain points, because I think he thinks he can do stuff like that just willy-nilly, and that's just not his capabilities.
Not at all. But so he takes out Palumbo and he goes up top for the moonsault, but Palumbo rolls out the way, but the old guy's in the ring for some reason. And that distracts him. And then Palumbo hits Rection with the Lex Flexor as the ref's trying to get the old guy out of the ring. And the match ends and it's over. And the old guy and Rection are both down. Major Guns and Giabro both get them up. No mouth-to-mouth yet here. And then the perfect event are walking up the aisleway, taunting Giabro and General Rection. Chronic's music hits and they beat down the tag champs. They throw the tag champs in the ring, and then Giabro and Captain Rection beat down Sean, and Chronic beats down Palumbo. They hit the high times on him. So this is probably the longest match of the night, but it's barred by dumb shit. Like it seemed interesting. Like Sean, Stasiak, and John Palumbo didn't look like shit in the ring, Logan. They looked kind of competent. But we had like the dumb stuff with the old man, and it would be cool if Chronic was fighting the perfect event at the main at Great American Bash, but he's not. So it's like, okay, all right, who cares?
Yeah, that certainly makes it confusing, for sure. But yeah, the introduction of the senile old man randomly seems like it's probably something that's going to go nowhere. It might go somewhere, but it just seems like one of those things that's just so random, and Russo's going to forget about it in like a week and a half. I was surprised that the perfect event kind of dominate the like opening half of this match. They really control it. They really handle Mr. Rection pretty well throughout the beginning. Giabro comes in and kind of changes things a little bit. He gets the momentum for their team for a good bit there. But yeah, the old man distracts General Erection, and obviously Palumbo nails him with the Lex Flexor, like you said. So, and yeah, Chronic coming out. You would think they have a tag title match coming up on Sunday, but I'm pretty sure Stasiak's facing Booker. Is that correct? In a boot camp match? Didn't you say that?
Yes.
So yeah,
yes,
the Chronic. I mean, I know Chronic's going to come after the tag titles, but I think they could have held off to that till maybe the pay-per-view or after the pay-per-view, because it doesn't have much to do with the show that's coming up.
Yeah, I'm just like, all right, like, don't know why this is happening the way it is, but okay, like,
yeah, that makes sense.
It made zero sense. So, yeah, so we have a commercial break, and Cat's in the ring again. We seen him for like the 5th time tonight. He tells all the rednecks to sit their asses down and shut up. And he says, day before he kicks this man's ass, he's going to do some dancing. Says he wants everyone to watch him get off. That's his exact words. I don't think he knows what that means. But the Cat starts dancing. Sting comes out. Match 7, Cat versus Sting. Sting's on the second rope, and he's doing his yow, and he's taunting the Cat. But Vampiro comes down and blasts him with a fire extinguisher, and then beats him with a set of fire extinguisher. Then he starts punching Sting around the ring. Vampiro chops Sting and punches him, sends him to the turnbuckle and hits a Stinger splash on Sting, and then he hits a Scorpion Death Drop on Sting as well. Vampiro picks up Sting and throws him out of the ring. The announcers leave, and they're like, what the hell is he doing? Vampiro pulls out a gas can and a torch that's right beside the announcers. How the fuck didn't Bobby see that the whole night is mind-boggling to me. Vampiro lights the announce desk on fire. While Sting's able to, wake up, and he gets the fire extinguisher and he sprays Vamp with it, and then the table putting out the fire. Sting throws Vamp into the guardrail, but Sting misses a Stinger splash into the guardrail. Vamp hits a rock bottom on Sting that was supposed to go through the table. Table did not break. That thing made a hell of a fucking sound when his back hit that table, Logan. It was pretty solid. Sting's down on the ground. Vampiro lays beside him, and he says, tonight it was wood that was burning, and on Sunday it will be your flesh. This match never got started, Logan. And Vampiro got some much-needed heat on him. It was pretty cool with everything that happened. Can't say I'm really looking forward to what happens this Sunday.
Yeah, I think we watched this pay-per-view on a Saturday night call one time, way back when we kind of first started doing them. I guarantee you can guess who suggested it as well. There's only two options.
Yep.
So. But yeah, like you said, it's another match that never really starts. And yeah, Vampiro does get a little bit on Sting here. He beats him down pretty good. So the New Blood guys, other than Kidman, are actually looking pretty good tonight. I think that's just kind of that's kind of where my mind goes to anytime we have any of these segments, because they so often look bad. But yeah, my point was when we watched it on the Saturday call, I don't remember anything about the show, but I remember everything about Vampiro and Sting. So I equally am not looking forward to what we'll see at the Great American Bash when it comes to that.
Yeah, it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun.
Oh, wait.
Because I know what it is. But yes. Oh, Jesus. But yeah. We have like 15, 17 minutes left, so I'm trying to figure out how the hell we're going to do this. So we get a commercial break. We see what just happened. We see Sting backstage. He says he doesn't need any medical assistance, and he leaves. Mean Gene is in the ring and says, this man faces possible retirement, and welcomes in Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Hollywood comes out. Mean Gene says, how's it feel to be back in black? Hogan says, Scott Hall taught me that, the way he was strutting around the ring like Scott Hall, and it feels good to be back. Hogan says he has to be black, had to go back to the black again because the New Blood is boring, and Kidman is on the run. Hollywood says Big Sexy is taking control and Goldberg is back. Hollywood has to clean up the trash. He says that Billy will be the ultimate sacrifice. Hogan says Kidman will always be the flea market champion. Jesus Christ, because he's not man enough to handle his woman. And says Horace Hogan is as rotten as they come. Hogan says first up is Billy, because when I beat Billy Kidman, I'll save my career and I'll get a shot at the WCW World title. It'll that Slapnuts hillbilly Jeff Jarrett or Big Sexy. He said either way, I'm going to kick someone's ass. Hogan says New Blood will be history soon. Hogan says he'll make an example out of Kidman and he will beat Kidman's ass at the Great American Bash. Wow. There it is, Logan. Another burial of Billy Kidman. Flea market champion Billy Kidman.
You think that's back to his like itchy, scratchy phase when he was in the Ravens flock, that he had fleas and all that. I know it was like a thing, but
it's supposed to be heroin, but he probably wishes he was back there.
Oh, absolutely. He was actually winning things and maybe even being involved in championship matches, let alone, granted they're cruiserweight championship matches, but he was actually being pushed and thought well of. So, but yeah, just again, yeah, he basically could just say here, hey, I'm going to beat you on Sunday, and you're never going to be anywhere near the top of the card again.
Yeah,
he could flat out say that, and he could get away with it because he's already
fucking absurd. Like, Logan, I honestly, I hate Starrcade '97. I understand Sting might have had his issues.
Mm-hmm.
This legit might be worse than that with him pulling his political bullshit.
Yeah, but he always said it's not. He didn't even do that, and blah blah blah. I saw a video on that yesterday. It randomly like came up on my Twitter, and it
Oh,
just
wow.
made me mad all over again. It was talking about, it was talking about Starcade and like, oh, we got to the building that day, and I was just like, this doesn't work for any anymore, brother. So just a bunch of bullshit.
Asshole. And then you see this shit, and it's like, this is literally a burial. Literally a
Mm-hmm.
fucking burial.
Yep.
Just, God, they're throwing dirt on the grave now. Like, they're throwing dirt on Kidman's kids' graves right now. So we get a commercial break. We come back. Scott Steiner is out for the new Blood Gauntlet. I hear Tony just announced one of the matches. I might have missed the other one, but it's a number one contenders match between the Mamalukes and versus Chronic for the tag title. Scott gets on the mic and says, Eric Bischoff, you and I are not strangers. So you know not to get on my bad side. If you want me to beat that new blood ass when it's all said and done, I'm coming after you. And it says, Tank Abbott, I got one request for you. Stick some front teeth in so I can knock something down your throat. And this leads us to match 8, which is the New Blood Gauntlet versus Scott Steiner. New Blood comes out. Chris Candido is out first, and Scott beats his ass with punches and then kills him with a released German suplex. Scott puts Chris on the turnbuckle and hits a top rope belly to belly, and it's over. At least we're actually getting 3 counts this time and not just fucking 1 counts, Logan, or no counts. He's just counting the ring from Monday still, but not this time. Stasiak is out next, and he starts kicking Scott and punching him. Sean charges Scott, and he eats a big boot. Then Scott hits a belly-to-belly and wins. Way to burn your tag team champs. And as soon as the ref counts 3, Chuck is hitting Scott with the Lex Flexor. We see Kevin Nash watching, and he stands up and sits back down because he can't interfere. For some reason, when we come back, Chuck is curling Madeja, and Scott hits him in the nuts, and then he puts Chuck in the Steiner recliner, and he taps immediately. The cat comes from behind him and starts choking Scott with his scarf. Scott gets out of it, hits a belly-to-belly, then puts Cat in the Steiner recliner. This is actually a pretty cool visual. While Scott has the cat in the Steiner recliner, Mike Awesome hits him with the top rope clothesline, and then Shane runs in and hits Scott with like a running snapmare. It was pretty awesome. Probably should have had them as a fucking tag team. Shane and Mike double team Scott. Kevin gets up and he walks out of the locker room, but as soon as he steps a foot out of the door, Jeff Jarrett hits Kevin with the guitar. So we get our one guitar break and says, "See you in Baltimore, big sexy." We're back in the ring and Scott's whipping ass somehow. I don't know how it happened. But Tank Abbott and Rick Steiner come down. A DQ is magically fucking called for this. They're all beating down Scott. Tank knocks out Scott with a punch, and they put him in a straitjacket, and then they put him in a body bag, which just fucking kill me. I'd have a panic attack and die, Logan. Like, just fucking die. Like, yep, I'm dead. Goldberg's music hits, and he comes down, and he starts the New Blood starts beating down on Goldberg, and then like he throws everyone off like he's like a fucking hoss, which is pretty dope visual, even though I knew what they were doing. But it was like a fucking video game thing where like Colossus throws everyone off. He then throws and he starts beating everyone's ass. Shane tries to bail, but Goldberg hits him with a military press that almost killed him because he almost dropped poor Shane on his fucking dome. Eric comes out with the cops and says, Billy, consider yourself under arrest, and Thunder ends with the cops about to arrest Goldberg. Logan, crazy fucking scene ending there. Millionaires Club gotten their ass beat tonight. Besides Hulk Hogan, because we can't have him get his ass beat.
Yeah, can't have Hulk Hogan look weak or anything like that. But yeah, the New Blood actually got one up on him tonight. Obviously, Steiner pretty easily dispatches of the guys in the Gauntlet, but once the Gauntlet's kind of over, they do beat them down pretty good. And yeah, obviously Goldberg comes out, cleans house, but then obviously the cops are seemingly coming to arrest him when we go off air. But yeah, absolutely, this is another good like booking trope of Russo's. It's just like a really chaotic ending. And it doesn't always work, but I think here it worked pretty well because it actually showed the new generation getting one up on the older guys. So There have been a lot of chaotic finishes to these shows that we've covered that haven't been good, but I think this is probably a good version of it.
Yes, I agree. But yeah, it's it was interesting to say the least. But that brings an end to another episode. But before we get out of here, Logan, let's run through the champs. World champion still Jeff Jarrett. U.S. champ still Scott Steiner. I did see the title tonight when he came out from the new Blood Gauntlet. Tag champs, the Perfect Event. Lieutenant Loco is your cruiserweight champ, and the Mama Lukes are your hardcore champ. Most absurd. I got the new Blood Gauntlet. Anything you'd like to add?
Probably the olds.
Yep.
The segment with the olds.
All right. And what do you have for what was good? Like the ending segment?
Yeah, the ending's just a new blood looking good for the most part, outside of Kidman. Man, I don't know if that should be important to us at this point, but like I feel like this part of this podcast has been like we really need to focus on like what happens within this storyline and how it could have been better and how it epically fails in a lot of situations. So that's just where my mind goes when they have good showing. So
I mean, he's feuding with one of the biggest stars in wrestling in 2000, like at least one of the biggest ones in WCW. Like, and it's fucking one-sided. What was bad? I just put Kim in burial. Like, sorry guys, it'll be over next after the Great American Bash.
Mm-hmm.
So we had 8 matches tonight. Do you want to guess if we had any clean finishes?
I'm gonna guess no.
You would be correct. So that's 2 shows in a row with no clean finishes. We had 8 non-clean or non-finishes, 0 pole matches tonight. We're still stuck at 5 total. We had 3 gimmick matches tonight. We're at 160 gimmick matches total. 1 guitar shot tonight, Logan, and that brings us to 46. So the guitar shots are starting to rise. They're starting to rise.
Trying to catch up to the episode number, so we'll see.
Yes,
got a lot more Jeff Jarrett.
35.
So I think we'll get there.
Yes. I kind of hope it passes it, to be completely honest. We had 35 different things happen tonight, and we're at 60 title changes overall. That was the hardcore and cruiserweight title changing hands. Now it's the most important question of the podcast, Logan. Are we smarter than Vince Russo's WCW?
I would still say yes, because there was some bad stuff on the show, but this is one of the ones that I'm a little bit, a little more hesitant about than usual. So I would definitely say yes, but it's closer than maybe it usually is.
I agree. I would say yes, just because like you said it perfectly. The like we had no reason for the old people in the Flair segment. We really see how the roster is really non-existent when you see the cat out so many times.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
So,
way too many. Way too many multiple segments by guys that like just aren't relevant.
Yeah. But yeah, that brings an end to another episode of Are You Smarter Than Vince Russo's WCW? I'm Scott Shiflett. He's the backbone of the backbone, Logjam Quasland. Check us out in 2 weeks for episode 50, The Great American Bash.
Peace.